Welcome back here to the LosAlamitos.com weekend preview here. I am your host, Jose Contreras, alongside the voice of Los Alamitos, Michael Werner. Michael, welcome back to the program. How are you doing on this Thursday afternoon?
Terrific, Jose. How are you, mate?
Doing well, doing well. Still thinking about some of the stakes events we had, both thoroughbred and quarter horse with the double headers here. But of course, for the quarter horse crowd, how about Empressum there? And the very valiant effort holding off the game, Scoops Dynasty. Scoops Dynasty made him run.
Scoops Dynasty looked magnificent going onto the track.
Yeah.
Ran his eyeballs out. He is such a consistent performer at the top level. Last season and this season, he does everything right. Well, most things right. Sometimes he can lug in a little bit, but he was pretty much flawless in his performance in the race on Sunday night. It still wasn't quite good enough, though, was it? Because unfortunately for Scoops Dynasty, he had the presence of the AQHA World Champion bearing down on him, and Empressum somehow managed to run faster time than when winning the vessel's Futurity last year. Is it possible he's even getting better this season?
I think they went 0.02 faster than last year. I think that was the difference.
Yeah, with a handy dandy 9.20 closing split. So you've got a feel for Scoops Dynasty, who, there was a nose between him and Shotgun in the trial, and Scoops Dynasty left Shotgun in the dust, finishing well clear of the third horse on Sunday night. But again, just not quite enough. But what can you say other than both horses are outstanding? Empressum is just something somehow superior.
Yeah, and looking back at that final there, the Vessel's Maturity, that was about as good as Empressum has broken in a long time, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's I would call that, by his standards, a quick break, because he usually takes a few starts to get rolling. The more I looked at the replay over and over, I was like, boy, he needed every bit of that good break to fend off Scoops Dynasty, who ran a sensational effort. So I thought Empressum broke as well as he done, in my eyes, in a long time, and it took every bit of that to repeat in the Vessel's Maturity.
Yep, and what a load off the shoulders of Jeff Jones and Steve Holden Heath Taylor to have him qualified now to the Champion of Champions, because we all remember how he missed by a nose in the Brad McKenzie Winter Championship to Apolitical Pence in that fabulous race. And so this now cements his place in December to defend his title in the Champion of Champions, and they can work backwards on the calendar from December and do as they please, do as they think is best by the horse. And obviously with a horse of this caliber, you have options galore, and they're considering some things out of state, but they don't have to. They don't have to do anything. It's just a matter of how the horse comes out of Sunday's race and how he's going to be feeling and acting in the coming months, and they can plot accordingly.
Yeah, that's the benefit of being able to get your spotting early in the season, and I think that would be the plan the rest of the way, as far as just getting them to be in tip-top shape for that December matchup. Now, we wind it to one more night, to Saturday night. How about that old pro, Cattail Cove, Michael? Yeah. What a cool horse. He bounced back, and what a blanket finish, and he got his nose down.
Yes, so both Saturday night and Sunday night stakes races were won in repeat fashion. Cattail Cove with his second Independence Day stakes in a row, and Empressum coming out one night later to win the Vessel's Maturity. And so there was some symmetry with those two performances. Cattail Cove had been just a little subpar by his normally consistent standards in his most recent start, but he'd had a little freshen up and a workout, and he just bounced back beautifully. He's such an old pro, isn't he?
Yes.
Gosh, you get to think back to how he was on the board in the last race Ed Burgart called before he retired at the end of 2021. Sorry, the end of 2019, I should say.
Yes.
And here he is still producing. It's wonderful to see older horses still performing consistently at the top level.
Yeah, that's a fun horse for sure. Back in that 2 million Futurity, he was mine's and Caleb Keller's top pick in the 2 million Futurity. That was Ed Burgart's final race call. By the way, we had a mobile TVG camera person with us, and we went up to the booth and recorded Ed Burgart's last call from the booth. Both Caleb and I were right there in the booth with him. And of course, he calls Cartel Just Rockin', who he gave us a good nod to, and winning for John Cooper at big odds. And all this comes to full circle because Cato Cove comes back and wins a stakes event. And also, the same past weekend, I was checking the entries at Ruidoso. They had trials for the Rainbow. And Cartel Just Rockin' had a baby running in those trials down at Ruidoso earlier this week. And of course, Ed Burgart came down and filled in for me last weekend on the set. So a lot of things came to fruition full circle this weekend at Los Al.
Yes, and I'll add to that the fact that Empressum's half-brother, he's judge and jury,
yes,
won one of the Derby trials on Sunday afternoon at Ruidoso. Not fast enough, unfortunately, to make the final, but the Dam had two very significant winners on the same day. And by the way, just speaking of the trials at Ruidoso, did you catch Jericho winning?
I did not see it. Did you watch the replay?
Yeah. He didn't get away all that well, as is often the case, but he was fantastic in the final stages, getting up to win. And he was, I think, briefly the fourth fastest qualifier. And there are only a handful of races to go. And somehow he got bumped out and was the 11th fastest, the dreaded 11th fastest. So he missed out on a berth. I think the first four home and cyber attacks late trial all qualified to the final. So that's very unfortunate for Jericho, who really made an impression here at Los Al late last year. He's a horse I'm sure we're going to see at Los Alamitos deeper into this season, and in the longer races, he's going to be a force.
Yeah, and can't wait to see what Cyber Attack does in that final, as he just captured the Rainbow, the Ruidoso Futurity, Ruidoso Derby, the first Derby of the season. Now it's up to that Rainbow Derby coming up. I would imagine in a couple of weeks, the final. Okay, let's get down to business. Saturday night here at Los Al, it's an all-quarter horse card on the evening program, Michael, because we have some quarter horse maiden events to start the program, and then we transition into the Governor's Cup Futurity trials, beginning in race number 3. Is that where the race is in the
race 4? Yeah, there are 5 trials on the program. Yeah.
Yes, and we're going to take a look at race number 5, which is the second division of the trials for the Governor's Cup Futurity. That means our California Breeders' Champions Weekend is approaching in just a few short weeks. We're looking at race number 5, the second division of those trials, Michael. And I know you like the looks of Sarsaparilla.
I do. Number 2 at 5-1 on Ed's morning line. A horse who was a debut second to Talk About Something. Now, Talk About Something, of course, has gone on to be a very significant, promising 2-year-old who was in the final of the Ed Burke, but was the gate scratch, right? That's what handed the winner the outside post position. Yeah, so Talk About Something had qualified to the Ed Burke Million Futurity subsequent to this debut race of Sarsaparilla, finishing second. So that's a pretty good form line out of the debut. Then Sarsaparilla finished 4th in a kindergarten futurity trial, beaten less than a length. The second and third horses coming back to win subsequently. Basking, by the way, who finished 3rd in that race, won last Saturday night at Los Al. So that's a good form line too, 4th in a kindergarten trial. Then went back to a maiden on the 17th of June and finished 3rd from gate 3 in a 300-yard race. Well fancied at 9-5. We've got this replay for you. Gate number 3 for Sarsaparilla, who was off a little slowly and was slammed from both sides. Good recovery, I thought, even though finishing a long way behind the winner, from where the horse was mid-race to actually get up and finish 3rd by a nose was pretty decent. And it was an okay closing split of 9.71. And I felt watching that race that this filly was ready to win. Now, maybe I would have preferred if she turned up in another maiden race, but here she is in a Futurity trial against winners. And so that's cause for pause. I don't normally like the concept of maidens versus winners, but I just am not completely sold on the top two on the morning line. I don't know that this is the strongest of the 5 Futurity trials. I haven't read Orlando's preview yet, but I can't imagine any of these horses will be in the top 3 or 4 or 5 that he happens to reference when promoting the race. And Check and Cartel was okay winning last time out. 8-5 favourite, and yes, she has the outside draw, but she had plenty of room early in her maiden win. It was strong at the end after a mid-race bump. It was a good effort, but the horse she beat, Fancy Like Lily, is not in a Futurity trial Saturday night. She's in race 1, a maiden, and she's only 9-2 on Ed's morning line. So that's to me not the scariest form line in the world. And Wild Thing, the second choice at 5-2, narrowly beat He Travels last start in a maiden and had every chance in winning the race. Well, He Travels came out last Sunday in a maiden, was 5-2 and finished a pretty average 4th. Had, I think, every chance. It was a moderate effort. So I'm thinking there's just not that much strength in the form lines of the top 2 on the morning line. And it's not the scariest thing in my head for Sarsaparilla as a maiden to be taking these other winners on. And the only thing that was bugging me, Jose, looking at the 3 races of Sarsaparilla is she hasn't really been that flash away, and she's having trouble at the start. And so I went back and had a look at the most recent gate work leading up to her debut, just to refresh my memory, just to have a look at whether she can, in fact, get herself out of the gate and into gear. And I'd forgotten, and to me, this is a big bonus, that this gate work was against Market Analyst, and she had the inside draw. Look at how well she begins here from the inside against Market Analyst in this April 22 gate work.
Breaks right on top and, builds a good lead early on.
Yeah, exactly. Market Analyst is the bigger horse and is a little too strong at the end. But the gallop out all the way around the turn with Market Analyst is very encouraging. And Market Analyst, of course, came out to win on debut very impressively, so impressively that she was an odds-on favourite in her Ed Burke Million Futurity trial. And she's 8-5 favourite on Ed's morning line for the first trial on Saturday night to the Governor's Cup Futurity, race number 4. So I think that's significant. I think it's very worth noting that this horse, Sarsaparilla, could match strides pretty much with Market Analyst. Even though she's a maiden, I think 5-1 is a decent price.
I think it's a fair price because obviously she is still a maiden, but like you notice, there's some good horses in the running lines. We talked about Basking. Basking came back to win last week in one of the races where you and Chris had a selection. So I think Sarsaparilla is still knocking on the door. I think 5-1 is a fair price. I mean, I'm kind of attracted also to Around Town at 5-1. I think that's a nice morning line.
I think Around Town's got a look too. I think I'd prefer Around Town at 5-1 over either Wild Thing or Check and Cartel. I don't mean to be too critical of the 5 and the 7. I just don't think at the odds that they are the way to go. I just think the 2 and 4 are more playable and more appealing. I think Sarsaparilla's form lines in her defeats, even though she's still a maiden, and from her gate work, are more interesting than the form lines from the wins by Wild Thing and Check and Cartel.
I think it's going to play out like a fun second trial because it starts the late pick 4 on the age race program, and I think there's plenty of ways to go. So Sarsaparilla, that's a good look for you there. A good look for you there at 5-1.
Yep, let's take a swing. The odds are okay.
I like that. And we had that special July 4th holiday card during the daytime here at Los Al, and I was watching a few of those races. And Ida, how about she never wins by much, as Kurt Hoover noted, but when she wins, she makes you sweat, and she prevailed again in the feature.
Yeah, what a thorough professional and a great will to win that she has displayed on several occasions now. And she counts 2 graded stakes wins at Los Alamitos amidst her 6, I think it's now 6 race win streak. So really good quality filly and a game win.
Well, tip of the cap to you. I've been enjoying some of those race calls. How about that moonshot that you gave us? This is in Concerts of the Moon, the miles. I like that. So well done to you that you fit that into the race call. I'm glad you didn't stumble any of those words during that call.
Yeah, that was, I actually had, since you referenced that race call, that I made a note. I did a bit of research. It seems like a year or 18 months ago. There was a horse going round here at night in 1,000-yard races called Moon Circumference.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it might be a fun thing to throw in if Moon Circumference ever won a race. Well, Moon Circumference never went close to winning a race. So I thought, well, the cutting room floor, that's the end of that. But then when I saw this horse and the small field, and when it opened up to a big margin and there was plenty of time to play around in the last 16th of a mile, I thought, well, why not? So I just resurrected my research from a year or 2 ago.
I liked it. I hope plenty of the tuners or the viewers and the bettors enjoyed as much as I did. I had thoroughly enjoyed myself in that small field and big margin. It gave plenty of room for you to throw that in. So well done to you. Tip of the cap.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, I'll let you go. Have the rest of your Thursday afternoon. Enjoy it. And let's see if Sarsaparilla can give you a good break there on Saturday night.
Good on you, mate. Hooroo.
Los Alamitos celebrates its 10th year of daytime thoroughbred racing this summer with an action-packed meet in beautiful Orange County. It's been an honor for us to have racing's biggest stars competing here over the past years. From the great 2-time Horse of the Year California Chrome to 7 other outstanding Eclipse Award winners, plus many other great stars. Our summer meet will include the Great Lady M Stakes on a special 4th of July program, plus the Los Alamitos Derby and our on-track handicapping contest on Saturday, July 8th. It's our 10th year of daytime thoroughbred racing at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Wiener Dog racing fans, the Wiener Schnitzel Wiener Nationals are back at Los Alamitos Racecourse Saturday night, July 15th. It'll be a showcase of the fastest dachshunds in the world. They love to run, and they love to make new friends and have fun. Who will be the fastest winner in the West? We can't wait to find out. Join us for this great night of family fun. Admission for kids 17 and under is free. The Wiener Schnitzel Wiener Nationals at Los Alamitos Racecourse, Saturday night, July 15th.
Welcome back here. Now joined by Christopher Wade, your Los Alamitos analyst. Chris, before we know it, we'll have to start handicapping the Wiener Dogs. They're right around the corner.
Oh, yes. Wiener Dogs. It's a great night of racing at Los Alamitos, dogs and horses. And it's packed. The place is pumped up. It's a lot of fun. And it's a great night of racing, be it doggies or horses.
Yes. And, it's usually one of our biggest crowds, and not the biggest crowd each and every season here at Los Alamitos. So looking forward to getting the Wiener Nationals back at Los Al. I got in contact with Professor G. Professor G is a little bit too busy here with the daytime thoroughbred season still going on the way, so he's not going to join us this week, but he sent us some videos recapping last week's quarter horse events, including Empressum. But I also talked to him about the Wiener National. He said, we got a record amount of entries, Jose. I got so many Wiener Dogs wanting to go. I can't wait. So looking forward to the Wiener Nationals in just a couple of weekends here at Los Al. All right, let's get down to business. Saturday night, Chris, it's an all-quarter horse program, all quarter horses, all 8 races. The trials begin with race number 4. So we have 5 trials for the Governor's Cup Futurity. You're going to take us to race number 3 right before the trials begin, because race number 3 is the start of the $2 Pick 6. And boy, has it been some great payouts in the Pick 6 as of late, Chris.
Oh, yeah. You get some prices along the way. You get 6-to-1 shot. You blow things up. We paid huge this recent week with a nice price ran along the way. And then it's a great $2 bet at Los Alamitos.
It really is. All right, let's go. Race number 3, 300 yards. The quarter horses, maidens here. We got a field of 8 runners, and the morning night favorite is Rio's Renegade on the outside at 5-2. But I know you like the looks of Bloodbath. Bloodbath missed by a head last time out.
Yes, he missed by a head, but this horse has been a W, which is on my numbers. He's a horse to watch. And last time, the more W's, the more I like him. And this horse is a 2W off his last race. He had tons and tons of trouble, beating a head for the whole thing. But any kind of a decent break, and he didn't win by open legs.
Here it is. Here's that replay from June 10th. Bloodbath was in gate number 4, right? Yeah, gate number 4 was Bloodbath. He was dropping in class into this race, and he went off as the even money favorite here this night, gate number 4.
Yeah, you can see him break slow, was bumped back, and he levels out strongly late and was beating ahead for the whole thing. What caught the eye was a galloped out very, very strongly. He was beating ahead for the whole thing. And lost a length and a half and galloped out very strongly. He's supposed to have a ton of talent, just needs a decent getaway. He was claimed out of that race, I think it was. No, he wasn't, but someone else. But he ran a very good race.
He was claimed out of the race.
Oh, yeah, he was. Okay. Yeah, he was claimed out of the race by one element, I think it was. And earned a pretty good figure with everything factored in. So if he gets away clean, he's got to look at the outcome. You got to be the horse to the outside, the doctor's guy, and Rio's Renegade. They ran a like event recently. And doctor's guy did have some trouble, not a fair. I'm going to give Bloodbath a shot to get there at a nice price. The ability is there. It's just a matter of getting out of the gate and running his race.
And he probably was best in that race, given the trouble, right? So he needs to, if he breaks a little bit better, he definitely one of the main contenders in this spot. And anytime you can get Jesus Ayala to ride, you're going to take note. So 5-1, I think that's a generous price on a runner that like Bloodbath, but it is a competitive race to start the pick 6.
Yes, it is a very competitive race. You got 4 or 5 runners that are very, very close to my numbers. But this horse, like I said, has been a W in each and every one of his local races. He's got a good amount of talent. It's just a matter of getting out of the gate. If he does, he's got to look at the outcome.
Yeah, he is. He's going to be in gate number 6, 5-1. First time in the barn of Juan Alleman, like he noted. First time off the claim. They claimed for $10K. They put him against straight maiden, so in a protected spot. And this is a good way to begin the pick 6 at 300 yards on race number 3. Are you tackling any simulcast signals for the Nightlights program?
Yeah, we're doing races. I think races 5 through 10 at Delta Downs. Ottumwa Park canceled. They had a situation with their lights last weekend, and it's continuing on this week, I guess, and we're next week as well. So we're just handling Delta Downs races 5 through 10.
All right, sounds good, Chris. Best of luck with this runner, Bloodbath. And see if you can get a better break, and I think you'll get a fair price. I think that 5-1 will stay because we expect both the 7 and the 8 to take money on the outside, right?
Yeah, deservedly so. They're the ones to worry the most about. The Red Runner had to look at a price as well. Lightning Jet 1, but Bloodbath. This horse can just get out of the gate in decent fashion. He's a big-bodied sort, and he can just level out and finish very well, and have a big look at the outcome there at 5-1 in the program.
All right, Chris, thank you for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. I'll let you go. Get ready for those simulcast signals. We got to turn in the comments for the print edition of the Nightlights. Make sure we meet that deadline as we get ready to go, and we'll be set for this weekend of racing. I'll see you this weekend at Los Al.
All right, bye. You have a good night.
You too, Chris. Welcome back. Now let's talk about the horse that I'm going to key on Saturday night's program, it's going to be in race number 8, the final race of the card and the final of 5 trials for the Governor's Cup Futurity. And I'm going a little bit for a repeat recipe because last week's Keys horse, Kickin' Famous, ended up prevailing and getting the job done nicely. And we're going to go to the same trainer and jockey combination, Jose Flores and Cruz Mendez. And it's going to be in race number 8. I'm going to mandate here 3-1 on the rail for the partnership of Paul Blanchard, Santos Montemayor, and Ricardo Ramirez, bred by Dr. Steve Burns. Now, Jose Flores actually has another entrant in the spot that's expensive, the 6 horse, who is actually the 8-5 morning night favorite. He was a $132,000 purchase at the Los Angeles Equine Sale. It was visually impressive on debut. They came back with a third place finish back on Futurity Trial Night on May 28th, behind Justin Fuller and Optical Illusion. Optical Illusion is actually entered earlier in tonight's program towards the beginning of those trials. But I'm going to go with the other Jose Flores trainee, Mass Mandate. Now, this one was also a flashy debut winner back on April 30th. I thought he was ready to fire, and he did. He fired very nicely that night at 5-2. Made it look like an absolute gift. Then came back, was well back on Futurity Trials Night for the Ed Burke on May 28th. He was in gate 5 in the field of 8, and he just didn't break all that well, and that pretty much told the story of the rest of his night. But let's take a look at the replay. May 28th. Again, Mass Mandate did go off as a betting favorite. Gate 5 is where he was at this night. You can see he's a little bit standing awkwardly in the gate. Not, he settles, but he breaks inward, bump with the inside, bump with the outside. Right here, he leans and gets bumped again, and then never really truly, never looked comfortable in between horses, kind of gets shuffled back, has to alter his path. And at this point, he's still trying to keep up with the top group there, but it was too much trouble to overcome. He just didn't have the path from the beginning, did not have the gate acceleration, and he just never looked like he was going to be a major threat for the win. Now, I am going to give him some credit for not completely quitting in this effort. You can see he's still trying to lean inwards. He's not settling into a comfortable rhythm. Cruz Mendes is still trying to see if he can have some run out of him. But at this point, the front group is kind of scooted away from him, and he has to alter his path. Now, he was chasing a pretty solid 9.70 final eighth. And I got to give him credit for not completely giving away after that troubled beginning. He got beat just under 2 lengths when everything is said and done. And I thought you got to give him an excuse there for that effort. So I'm looking forward to see if Mass Mandate can bounce back with a better performance. I actually don't mind the inside draw because that means it's only one horse on the outside of him. And Haba hasn't really broken all that sharply in all 3 starts, despite winning in that 220. She wasn't the quickest out of the gate in that spot. So I think Mass Mandate has the opportunity to break better. I think he should handle the 350 yards, even though he was a beaten favorite last time out. There was a significant amount of excuse. And I think he's ready to fire a better effort tonight. He has a workout back on June 17th, 1250 workout. They didn't ask him for much. Easy hold throughout. And I like that he showed the ability to break much better, much quicker on debut. So Max Mandate is going to be my lock of the night, my key play for Saturday night, 3-1 on the morning line. Let's see if Cruz Mendes and Jose Flores can repeat for yours truly in back-to-back weeks. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this weekend's preview show. Thank you to Michael Runner, Christopher Wade. Professor G is taking care of all the happenings for the daytime thoroughbred season. One more weekend here. This week at Los Alamitos, racing Saturday and Sunday day to coincide with the doubleheaders of our regular nighttime program. So Professor G, handling business, making sure everything goes smoothly as far as getting all those programs, daytime programs growing, everything organized. But he did put together for us a very nice vessel maturity montage highlighting the race of last weekend's grade 1 feature. And of course, watch and Empressum repeat in that grade 1 vessels maturity, and a few words with his trainer, Heath Taylor, afterwards. So thanks so much for watching this week's preview show. Again, tune into Los Alamitos daytime racing, both Saturday and Sunday here, and also the nighttime program Saturday and Sunday night. And for our handicapping players that I want to get involved in a handicapping contest for the NHC, Los Alamitos will be conducting one this week and this Saturday during the daytime. So LosAlamitos.com is a place to be to find out everything about what's going on. If you want to participate in the NHC handicapping contest, this is your week to do so. All right, enjoy this Vessels Maturity montage, and we'll catch you next week here at the LosAlamitos.com preview show. Have a good rest of your day.
Racing! Empressum begins okay, but not as fast as Shotgun or Scoops Dynasty. It's Shotgun, Scoops Dynasty. Empressum is coming at them powerfully. Scoops Dynasty tackled by Empressum. Empressum, Scoops Dynasty. Empressum taking the lead. Empressum by a neck to Scoops Dynasty. 2 lengths clear of Shotgun. Empressum wins his second vessel's Futurity.
Thanks, Steve.
And, just tickled to death, very thankful. The horse, he stood up there and he left quite a bit better tonight, it looked like. And, it was a quality field, obviously, anytime you get these grade ones. And, sure happy to get the presumptive berth. Obviously, that's much important as what the purse is. So now we can campaign and work the horse backwards. And really hadn't planned on running the horse this early in the year, as we had talked about prior after the trials. But, Scoops Dynasty ran a phenomenal race, and I really thought Shotgun ran a phenomenal race to run third. He was in front and sure run really good. I need to make a shout out to Bobby Cox. There's a lot of class. He had 2 horses in here, Shotgun and Jets, and we won a trial today in the Rainbow Derby for Jericho, a really top horse that's in the Super Derby here later. Basically, there was no way possible to be here unless Bobby provided transportation for the jockeys, myself and Rodrigo, and we left there after the 15th race, and we're here an hour and 38 minutes. So, I'm very appreciative of him getting us here to be able to run all 3 horses, and I told his secretary how important it was, and she got it done. So I want to thank them, and I'm just real tickled that the horse is in the race now, and we can kind of work backwards and see where he's going to run.
Los Alamitos celebrates its 10th year of daytime thoroughbred racing this summer with an action-packed meet in beautiful Orange County. It's been an honor for us to have racing's biggest stars competing here over the past years, from the great 2-time Horse of the Year, California Chrome, to 7 other outstanding Eclipse Award winners, plus many other great stars. Our summer meet will include the running of the Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday, July 8th. Plus, we'll host our on-track handicapping contest on Saturday, July 8th. It's our 10th year of daytime thoroughbred racing at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Racing fans, the traditional $2 pick six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a pick six carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the pick six pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a pick six carryover or the $10,000 pick six promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, including a $274,000 pool on March 11th and a $205,000 pool on January 7th. The traditional $2 pick six, a great bet, a great deal, big time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos. Wiener Dog racing fans, the Wiener Schnitzel Wiener Nationals are back at Los Alamitos Racecourse Saturday night, July 15th. It'll be a showcase of the fastest dachshunds in the world. They love to run, and they love to make new friends and have fun. Who will be the fastest winner in the West? We can't wait to find out. Join us for this great night of family fun. Admission for kids 17 and under is free. The Wiener Schnitzel Wiener Nationals at Los Alamitos Racecourse, Saturday night, July 15th.
Burns Ranch is proud to welcome 2-time AQHA champion Golden Boy. He joins multiple stakes winner MP Shining, whose first crop are yearlings, and California champion Middle Error, with foals arriving this year. Proven stallions include Separate Interest, off to a good start in 23.
Delight Interest trying to fend him off. Delight Interest comes through in the clutch.
And Fly Through the Fire, a top 3 ranked second crop sire. Let Burns Ranch put you in the game.